Hello and welcome to Just Hear Me Out, the experimental podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Becca.
And I'm Kay.
And this will be interesting.
So, today, we're finally back from Amsterdam.
It
took a year, but we're here. It was very cloudy. We got lost.
Yeah, that corona and everything cancelled our flight. Well, it wasn't the corona. Our flight was actually delayed.
Our flight was actually literally
How many
delayed
hours
on
was
that
it
day.
delayed by?
Our flight was at 9.
Was it 9?
Yeah, because I always book a late flight home.
Yeah, because we usually get like the first flight over in the morning, so you have that entire day, and then the last flight back at night, so you have the entire kind of day that day. So even though it's only 3 nights, it's like 4 whole days.
Yeah. But are we allowed to curse on this?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I asked. Like, I'm the co-host here.
Yeah. Oh.
If you're offended by cursing, please turn this off now. You piece of shit.
Hey.
You're not a piece of shit. I love you.
Oh.
But
So we
yeah, our flight was at 9. Delayed. Our flight was at 9, and we got to the airport. We were there for around. We got bored. Like, it wasn't our first rodeo in Amsterdam. Like, we've been there twice or 3 times before.
Nah, we'd only been once. You'd been twice. I'd been once.
Yeah, like I went for my 21st, and then I went twice with you. And then, so anyway, getting back on track. We got to the airport and we're sitting there from about 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe.
But here's the thing, though. When we got to the airport, we didn't know the flight was cancelled. Like, we got there and there was just queue.
Hold on, may I add? I have severe anxiety. Okay.
I don't fly well.
So do not remember. We're gonna get to this, and you're gonna remember what happened. I got to the train. I got to the train station in the airport, and immediately was like, oh no, the day before that, I lost a bag of medication in a shop over there, Amsterdam medication, and
confused there for a second.
Yeah, so I lost a little baggie of medication in Amsterdam, and I didn't realize till the next day. So the next day I threw on the jeans that I wore out the night before. I know, disgusting. Ew.
The rest were all
Anyway, so we got to the airport train station and I was like, oh my god, I just realized I didn't check any of my pockets or the suitcase or anything in my bag to see if anything was in my bag, because I didn't check and see if I lost it in my bag. So in the middle of the airport, I emptied my suitcase, but as I took everything out of my pockets, 2 heavily armed, well, they're heavily armed because we live in Ireland and we don't see weapons very often.
Well, not in the hands of guards anyway.
Right, so they were armed. They were naturally armed police.
Naturally armed police.
The way they are trained to be. At that time, I was like, they are going to arrest my 5'3" ginger ass.
I thought you were
smuggling right now.
You have been lying to me about your height, so
I don't care.
You're a fucking liar.
But yeah, so in the middle of Schiphol, I think it's
Schiphol.
No, Schiphol's the train station.
No, Schiphol is the entire name because it's Schiphol Airport. How many times have you booked flights?
It's Amsterdam. I don't go there to remember anything. I don't think anybody does.
Well, that last holiday was very memorable.
But anyway, so I cleared out my suitcase. Blah, blah, blah. Didn't find anything. I got to security and they have these, like, I call them horse boxes, because you get locked in a little box.
Are they the like passport? No,
Yeah, the passport
that's on
things
the
that
other.
you slide
That's
your.
when you like get.
Yeah, that's security to go through.
Oh, right. You're on about security. I thought you're on about like passport and
Yeah,
get back.
no. So we were in security. I went first,
You always go first.
and yeah, I always go first because anxiety. And we split into different lines, so it wasn't really like I pushed it to the back.
No.
We always separate into different lines because it goes quicker. But anyway, in there, I get through, and then I'm waiting for you outside there. And do you remember the cop or the security guard that was there?
Oh yeah.
He put his hand on his gun and goes, "Move along." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to die."
Can I just point out the fact that when we went, they got new scanners for like when they scan your hand luggage and like that.
Oh, for yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they said it was like the equivalent of like an MRI scan, something like that. Don't know, not very technical. But all I know is I had downed a full bottle of tequila rose, which if you haven't had it is fucking amazing. Like it is my favorite drink.
Okay,
And
I
then
just
found out
want to cut you
afterwards,
off there.
no, then found out afterwards that I didn't have to do that because these new scanners meant that I could have brought it through. Like you can bring any amount of liquid through because the scanner scans it better than other scanners or something. So I was not in a state to get on a plane, let's be honest.
I know we were meant to talk about our delay, but we're getting to that. We're delaying it.
We're
Um,
we're delaying delaying the delay.
we're delaying it. But as where was I?
What are you on about?
I'm talking about the airport. Oh yeah, because I got through security. But on the way back, like at that security, like where you put your bag in, they scan it and stuff, like the same thing that you were just on about.
Yeah.
We brought home the novelty cookies.
No, that was the first time we went. That wasn't last.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was
We're editing that out.
right. Okay. No. So
We were at the part where I was in the horse. I came out of the horse box and I was waiting for you. And that security guy put his hand on his gun and goes, "Move along, sir." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna die." And I remember you laughing at me because you were like, "You're so white."
yeah, you were very pale. Like you are a pale person anyway, but like you were extremely pale.
Like, as I said, like we're from Ireland. We don't see many weapons, and I don't feel comfortable around firearms or any weapons.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like anyone that has them the only people that should have them are people that are trained to have them.
Yeah.
But
do you
in
know
America, I don't care about their gun laws. I just prefer not to be around those people. Like I'd be around those people, but as long as they didn't have a gun, I'd be cool with it.
do you not remember that when we arrived at the airport, like there was queues, like I've never seen queues as long in an airport, like, and I worked in an airport. Um,
It reminded me
it
of
was
Disneyland.
ridiculous. I don't know, I've never been, so, but it was literally like you could not cram any more people into that tiny little space. And like nobody knew what was going on.
In all fairness, nobody knew what was going on, but the way
But there
the
was
floor staff in that
camera
airport
crews.
work, they were just like, "Go, you're here, and you're here, go."
Yeah, in all fairness, they're like
it just
very
went.
organized, like
And
very organized.
Yeah, like it went from, I think it was like 5 or 6 windows being open. I'm gonna say windows instead of saying horse box. But
You mean the check-in desks?
yeah, like the check-in thing that you put your passport in.
Yeah.
Like there was at least 5 or 6, probably 10 of those open. But then they opened up the rest of them in about 3.
So anyway,
it's like an extremely empty Tesco. Because when it's busy, they open one till. It's like, okay, we get it. You're an arsehole. You don't need to do it when I'm here.
anyway, so the reason we eventually found out that our flight was delayed, not cancelled, thankfully. Our our friends who we went with,
we got through there at about 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Was it not a little bit earlier? I thought it was earlier. I don't know.
It's probably like 5:30, 6.
It was like a year ago, so.
I just remember it being early because we just got bored walking around Amsterdam.
Because we'd kind of done.
And our friends had already left for the airport, and because their flight was earlier than ours.
And we got to the airport, and their flight had actually been cancelled. And
their flight was cancelled.
At this point, none of us knew what was going on. And then eventually, turns out that the aircraft refueling system had broken down so that none of the planes could refuel. So obviously, if they couldn't refuel, they couldn't fly. So every flight was grounded across the airport. It was it was chaotic. But
thank God they had a smoking area.
that was like tiny. Like we literally just sat on like these little airport couches for ages.
We went to the bar, and I think I paid about 40 quid for 2 drinks.
Yeah, it was like the airport was ridiculous.
Who do you think you are trying to sell me a Jameson and Ginger for like $25.95?
In all fairness, though, like I would much rather be stuck in Schiphol for that length of time than I would in Dublin Airport, because there's a lot more to do.
Actually, our flight was eventually.
It was at 1:30 in the morning.
At 1:30 in the morning, but as we sat down in our seats, you got a text message from Ryanair for a refund or a hotel stay,
or to change the flight.
Like literally, as we clicked our belts, it was like clink. Ryanair has messaged you.
We were literally on the taxi, like taxiing the runway.
Yeah, it was fucking annoying. Like I was almost getting up out of my chair to open that landing door and go down the slide. I was just done with that day.
In all fairness,
I needed a bit of fun and excitement, and I needed a bit of rough and tug, cuff action that day.
I'm so glad that when I worked my airport shifts, because I worked for a holiday company abroad, and I used to have to go to the airport once a week to help people flying in, make sure they got on the right bus to where they were staying, and then people who had already been on holiday, make sure they checked in and stuff. All right, and I'm honestly so glad I never had to deal with that. Like we had to deal with delays and cancellations, reroutes, everything the whole time. But like, I'm so thankful that we didn't have like a refueling malfunction where every flight across the airport had to be grounded.
No, in all fairness, we did look at the board. Well, I did obsessively.
Yeah, we checked it non-stop.
Because once again, anxiety, and I didn't want to be trapped in an airport. And I kept checking it, and then eventually it came up, and I was like, "It's there! It's fucking there!" And you were like, "No, it's not. What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Grab your bag, we're going."
Oh. And we ran.
We got there, our friends messaged us and told us that Aer Lingus, who they were flying. Oh, I can't say that.
Yeah.
Well, Aer Lingus, they were flying with Aer Lingus. They were flying with a big green bird. Their flight was cancelled, and they had to spend 2 days over there.
Yeah, they were lucky though, because they got paid the day they were supposed to go home.
Yeah.
Whereas we at that point were flat broke. Like we honestly, as much as we wouldn't have minded staying, could not afford it.
Like I was almost walking out of Schiphol because I felt bad for them staying there. I was like, dude, we're gonna stay together.
At that point, we were already.
Then our flight popped up, and I was like, "Fuck you guys! I'm going home to my own bed. Fuck you."
Yeah, it was such a weird holiday. Like The hotel was amazing. It was like one of my favorite hotels I've stayed in.
Let me just say one thing about that hotel. They're not paying me to say this, and I wish they would, and I don't want payment for it. I want them to pay me in room stays.
I swear to God, we're so going back to that hotel.
If you're ever in Amsterdam, they're not paying me to say this at all.
Imagine how nice it'd be if they were there.
It's the Olympic Hotel in Amsterdam. It's awesome. There's no swimming pool, sadly. There's 2 hot tubs on the roof.
Yes, on the roof. A gym
Yeah,
and a sauna.
A gym and a sauna.
The beds are the comfiest beds I've ever slept in.
It's not even funny how comfy those beds
and
are.
the views, like the entire, like one entire wall is just made from glass. Like it was.
The jacuzzis have a view over the canal beside the
Olympic
hotel,
yeah,
as well
and
as the
Olympic Stadium where the Olympic Games were held.
Where football games are held regularly. We were there, and a football game was going on, beknownst to us.
Can we just like tell that story from the start though? Because like there's a lot more to that story than just the football game. The football game was only like a little teeny tiny part. But yeah, anyway, that hotel.
Well, the football game is my favorite part to tell people, just because we were sitting in the hot tub, me, you, 2 of our friends, we were just chilling, and all of a sudden we heard, like, I don't know how many people was in the stadium at the time.
It just erupted out of nowhere.
Like, it sounded like we were in the middle of like a concert.
Yeah, but like, have you ever like muted the TV and then when you unmute it, there's just like it's just that burst of sound. Yeah. That was literally. It was like someone pressed like unmute on a remote.
Like, the acoustics in that building are amazing.
And to make it so much more interesting,
let's not go into that part.
That's my favorite part, though. But that's what I'm saying. You have to say, like, you have to tell it from the start. So there is one place in particular that both of us have been looking for to try find. Researched it extensively, and it's called Genetics.
Amsterdam Genetics, get it right.
Okay, sorry, I'll let you tell the bloody story then, because I vaguely remember this.
Right. So
we found it by accident. Like we were looking for it and we couldn't find it, and then one of the days we just walked by it and went, "Oh, so that's where that is."
Like, I've heard about this company, and if anyone is an enthusiast of Amsterdam
and their products,
you probably would have heard of it. It's called Amsterdam Genetics. Again, not being paid for this, nor do I want to be. I like buying their products when I'm over there. I appreciate the prices; they're very well.
In all fairness, like the quality for what you pay is insane. Like it is probably the best quality out there.
It's the only place I will play. It's the only place I'll pay €9 for a brownie.
Okay,
I'll tell you that much.
Those brownies, though. Oh my God!
If someone tried to ask me for €9 to breathe air, I'd be like, "Fuck you."
But here's the thing, though.
€9 for a genetics brownie? I'll pay you 50 for one.
Like they're so good. Like, and that's the annoying part is because they're obviously laced. And if they weren't, I probably would have ate about 20 or more in one go. Like that's how good they taste. Like I'm a big fan of brownies. Like just regular brownies. It's one of my favorite desserts. Like if I'm in a restaurant anywhere in the world and they have brownies as an option, like I'll always go for that. But
or cheesecake.
It depends. I probably go brownies over cheesecake because it depends on the flavor of the cheesecake.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, I have never, ever in all of my life tasted anything that tasted better than these. And it's so frustrating because they are laced, so you can't eat an awful lot.
No. That sounds like we're not saying that they're extremely dangerous to eat. They're just people who
very experienced, very experienced,
very regularly,
like all of the time.
We do not, and
I
was
definitely
a fucking awesome time.
So we bought 2.
So we
One
bought
each.
2.
And we kept them in the
one
mini
of our
fridge in...
Hold on. The reason we bought 2 is because in the shop, if you ever go to an Amsterdam genetics shop, they will ask you first off, it caught me off guard, and I was like, I really appreciate the service I got right there.
In all fairness, out of all the places we've been, it's my favourite one.
Yeah, like the service I got was awesome. I asked for a brownie, and the first thing this guy asked me, he didn't ask for cash or anything like that. He stopped me and said, "Do you smoke cannabis regularly, or have you smoked cannabis before, or have you done edibles before?" And I was like, "I've been to Amsterdam a few times, and this will be my second time doing edibles." And he said, "Okay, well, here's the deal. You only eat half and wait a half an hour to 40 minutes. And it doesn't mean wait a half an hour to 40 minutes to eat the other half. It means wait in half an hour to 40 minutes for it to kick in."
Yeah,
I
learned that the hard way. A very fucking hard way.
Probably explaining this wrong, but like, this is the experience I got. I'm just retelling it. So I bought 2. We got back to the hotel. I ate half. I was having a pretty normal time. I was like, this stuff is not that strong. So an hour went by.
Here's the thing though, you ate half and I ate a quarter because I was like, I haven't tried them. So
No, I was getting to that part. You just ruined it.
I'm sorry. No, I ate a quarter while you ate the half. We ate them at the same time.
No.
Yeah.
I ate half.
And I ate a quarter of one.
You ate a quarter of the other half.
Yeah, no, I ate half of the other half, which was a quarter.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We're getting
You're not very good at maths.
But yeah, so she did that, and not gonna lie, like, I was kind of not feeling anything. Like, not saying that Amsterdam Genetics are not like a producer of very strong products, because oh my god, yes they are.
They just
like, if
take time.
If someone says fire hot, it's like, yes it is. It's like Amsterdam Genetics, very good. It's like way better than what you think it is. But she ate the quarter, I already had my half, and I was like, this isn't hitting me at all. So anyway, our friends texted us from their room, because they were staying a floor below us. Literally the room underneath us.
Yeah, it was like the same room number, just different floors.
Yeah. And so they texted us like, "Oh, we're going to the hot tub. Do you want to join us?" And we were like, yeah, go on, we'll come up. And so we went up.
Before we went up, though,
in our stomach, this idiot had a quarter.
And then I started.
We went up to hot tub. This idiot decided to eat the other part of the brownie.
Can I just stress? Don't ever.
15 minutes.
Don't ever do that. Do not eat one edible or part of an edible, and then a little while later, eat another part.
Not do edibles. If edibles are your thing,
do them. Just don't make the same mistake that I did by taking them at 2 different times.
Please do your edibles responsibly, please.
Unlike me.
Because she ate the other half, and we went up to a hot tub. And if you've ever been in a hot tub,
it's hot.
It's kind of hot. It's not cold, believe it or not, but it's not cold at all.
So we were just chilling in the hot tub on the roof on this absolutely stunning day with our friends. It was kind of evening.
Like 42 degrees, by the way.
It was crazy. And that was like
the hot tub. It was 35 degrees.
It was very hot.
We're Irish. A lamp will burn us.
I wish that was a joke. But yeah, so we were just chilling in the hot tub with our friends. And that was fine. Everything was good. We're having a laugh and a joke, just chilling. And then out of nowhere, it just hits. And I just remember sinking down into the water. Like, my whole body was just like melted.
And then my two friends, well, our two friends, looked at me and was like, "She good?" And I was like, "She is very okay." Because I knew this would have happened.
Can I just point out that was not true? I was not very okay.
Yeah, I don't think you have to tell us that. Because
And that was only the start.
Our friends turned to us. Well, they didn't turn to me. They just looked at me. I know them a long time, and if you have friends who you know, like over
10 plus years.
10 plus years, like you can just look at someone and be like, "Yeah, I know." But I got that look of my friend and her boyfriend.
Also, fun fact, this was the first time we went away with these.
Yeah. But I got that look, and they were like, "She good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And immediately I was like, "Okay, guys, maybe it's time to get out of the
But
hot tub."
at that point, that was when the whole like football match was going on, so that was just a really weird experience.
I don't know what you're on about. That was 40 minutes after the football match.
Oh.
Because I'll tell you why, how I know that. Because we got out of the hot tub. You
I couldn't get out.
gracefully got out of the hot tub.
I couldn't get out.
Gracefully.
So
If you're listening and you think I'm being serious, you're wrong. She almost belly flopped onto a hard wooden deck on the roof of a hotel.
in a bikini.
In a bikini. With, you know, it's not a private area. There's windows right beside you.
The entire walls on both sides were glass.
So we got out, and I was like, "Okay, cool. She's gonna be okay now because the wind's gonna hit us and it's cold. Because you can have a hot tub, the wind's gonna hit you, and it's gonna be cold. But
not even the wind, just like the air. It wasn't windy.
As soon as I got out of that hot tub, I was like, I don't feel like my legs are doing the greatest right now. So my friend was having a tobacco cigarette, on the roof of this hotel, and I sat down on the chair, and immediately, as he was having a cigarette, everything went in slow motion. And I was like, "Oh, okay, guys, I think I need to go to bed." And then that was in my head. I thought I said it out loud, but I didn't.
No, you really didn't.
So our friends were like, "We're going to go into the sauna and dry off." And I was like, That's a
great idea.
That's such a good idea. Let's do that."
No, it wasn't. It really was not. That was probably the worst thing they could have done.
In all fairness, I do not regret that decision, because we went in there, all of us, and I was like, "Fuck it, like we're in here about 5 minutes." So I decided to turn the sand dial thing that they have in there.
Like the hourglass?
Yeah, the hourglass. And I immediately touched it with my bare hand.
You didn't touch the wooden frame you're supposed to touch? It was the glass.
Yeah, the glass. And if you didn't hear me the first time, it was a sauna.
It was very hot. Like hotter than the hot tub.
I touched the glass, and it took a minute for that pain to hit my brain. And I turned around to everyone, which what I said next clearly told everybody I'm not okay. Because
nor was I.
Looked at me like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Because can I just
glass, and for about 15 to 25 seconds, which if you've ever touched hot glass
it's a long time.
It's a long time. I turned to everyone and was like, "That's extremely hot."
You said no, that's not what you said. I remember exactly what you said. You turned around and went, "Fun fact, glass is hot."
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's why everyone looked at me weird, and I was like,
because it wasn't a coherent sentence.
It wasn't a coherent sentence.
Can I just point out, although they bought one, like they bought a brownie, they didn't actually consume theirs at this point. They had
consumed theirs at this point.
They did the clever thing and edit before they went to bed. We did not.
Yeah, but to me, that's a waste.
Yeah. But anyway.
Like,
they were
I don't
clever.
mean it in a bad way. To me, it's a waste, but to other people, it helps them sleep. I get it.
No, but to be fair, like they had it knowing that they weren't going anywhere and they weren't doing that, so they could just relax and enjoy it. Whereas we had it just for the sake of having it, and then
We had it.
this whole adventure
We
happened,
searched it for months.
and we were really excited.
We were overexcited. Like we didn't exactly like doggy paddle into it. We basically we swan dived into that bitch.
So yeah, at this point, I lost it laughing at the whole fun fact last hop. And I remember absolutely nothing after that except for one part. I remember being in the lift going back down to our hotel room, and I had a towel wrapped around me, and there was like this woman with her kids, and I was like pure freaking out because I was like, oh my God, like I am not okay.
I have to remind you that those people were not real.
Wait, no?
No. That was the woman in the mirror in the elevator.
No, there was like a woman with kids.
No, there wasn't. It was me, you, and two of our friends.
So it turns out I hallucinated a hell of a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, because this is where I come
Listen.
when your brain shut off, and here's the rest of that story. We went downstairs to meet our friends outside, and
we went back to the room first to get dressed.
Yeah, we went back to the room first to have a shower and get dressed. So anyway, our friends texted us, we're like, right, we're ready to go. We went downstairs, and immediately, you forgot your purse.
Yeah, because at that
point...
For
an hour, you forgot... we went back into that
can I just say,
so much.
I didn't know at that point we were going to the shop.
By the way, the shop was a garage.
And it was probably about 100 meters down the road, like not far.
Less.
Yeah. So we went back up so I could get my purse.
For an hour. This took an hour.
I had like a full-on meltdown in the hotel room once we got back up. And yeah, it was not good.
I finally got her to calm down. Got her to realise she's just very intoxicated right now.
Okay, but here's the thing though, like, do you want to explain how I was? Because I only vaguely remember it.
I felt so bad because like it was such a hot like I felt bad, but at the same time I was like, you did this to yourself.
In all fairness, I did.
I wouldn't leave anybody in that state by themselves, no matter what drug they were on.
It was like looking back now, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but at the time it was very scary for you. For me, it was the best time of my life because I finally got you downstairs. We were finally all good.
But here's it.
Fine. What's it?
What about the part where I was like crying?
Yeah, that's
in the hotel room.
What I mean. Like I got you to calm down.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing.
You're with me. You're a bit intoxicated right now. You'll be fine.
Do you want to explain why I was crying?
I can't remember why you were crying. You cried like 5 times.
I was
over 17 different things.
Sounds about right. I do that anyway. So this is the only part I remember. So I remember I was sitting on the end of the bed, sobbing, and I mean, like, I don't mean like
you weren't sitting, crying. I mean, laying down on your back.
Oh, was I?
Sobbing.
I remember sitting up at one point, but I was sobbing, like heartbroken sobs.
I don't mean like I found it hilarious because she was crying. I found it hilarious for the fact of what she was crying over. I wasn't like outwardly laughing. I was like, this is hilarious, but she really needs me right now.
Do you remember what I was laughing or what I was crying at now?
No.
No? Okay. So I knew how fucked up I was at that point.
I think
and it was
listening
very
how
fucked up.
Fucked up you are right now, and they weren't even there.
Yeah. So I was like, I remember sitting on the end of the bed just sobbing my heart out, like I had just lost everything and everyone. And like that's how much I cried. And I remember you were like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I can't go to the shop." And you're like, "Why not?" And I was like, "Because I'm high. And they're gonna know I'm high." I was like really freaking out that like
Oh
people
yeah,
would know that I was high.
and I was like, yeah, so is
You're
everybody here.
literally, but I was like, no, 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 but like they'll know I am and I'm
Going to
bad.
a bar and getting upset that everyone is drunk.
No, it's more like going to a
He's
bar,
as drunk as me.
getting
They're
drunk,
gonna know.
literally. And then, so then you were like, right, okay, I'll tell you what, you stay here and relax and I'll go to the shop.
And then
And
immediately I was like, do you know what? Do not stay here
no,
by yourself.
no, 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 you suggested that. And I was like, no, because like, I don't know what I'll do. Like, I was terrified that if I was left alone, that like, God knows what would happen. Like, I was in no fit state to be left alone. Um, whatsoever.
Yeah, but keep in mind, I also had. Let me just
The
say,
same
I
amount.
had half. So everything was hitting me at the right time. Everything was hitting you in waves.
2 batches.
Two
Yeah.
batches in waves.
Which is why you don't do it the way I did it.
Like, no, it didn't hit you in 2 batches. It hit you because you
Um,
ate 2 of them. Like, you ate one, but you ate it 15 minutes apart.
yeah, it was not my brightest
It
moments.
wasn't hitting you in batches. It was hitting you in waves.
Yeah, it literally, like, 1 minute I'd be fine, and then the next minute I was really not fine.
Yeah, like
Um,
moments of clarity and then moments of like, oh my god.
so eventually we got downstairs.
Took us an hour.
An hour, yeah. To the point where friends just assumed we had passed out and were debating going themselves.
Eventually got through 2 medication cigarettes.
Weed.
The W.
You can say the word.
The W double 3D.
I was really confused. I was like, double three?
Yeah, 2 E's and a D at the end.
I was like, I don't get that. I was like, 3D is like what you see at the cinema.
I was seeing a lot more than 3D.
You were seeing a lot more than 3D. I was fully convinced up until now that that woman and her kids in the lift, you know, were other hotel guests.
No, that was.
Now I might have been
That's-
seeing fucking ghosts.
that-
No, they were like kids. Like,
no, there was
about 9.
kids at the pool. Oh, the sauna thing. What's it called? Hot tub? Oh my god, my brain is just melting thinking about this story because that day was filled with so much absolute nonsense.
Oh, stop.
Like, right, so anyway, we got downstairs, we walked to the garage, which was a 5-minute walk, probably less. Took us 25 minutes. So we got to the garage.
I don't remember this walk, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed we got to the garage, I was in the garage, all of us were in the garage. I noticed my friend was looking at crisps and I was like, cool, I would really love some crisps right now. Dude, we were standing there for about 5 minutes reading packets.
We were like, because we had the munchies and we were so
Intoxicated.
very fucked up at that point. Because like these things are stronger than anything I have ever had, like in Amsterdam. Like they're so strong.
But at that time, I was trying to look after you, so I had I had more moments of clarity than I did of intoxication.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm not saying like, oh fuck you for ruining it or anything. I loved it because like
We get
I
to
was
laugh about
I
it
was
now.
having a good time on my own time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were too busy laughing at the shit I was doing. So,
No, I was
you know.
busy laughing at the shit I had you doing because in moments of
Yes.
clarity that I had, I was like, hey, can you grab that for me out of the freezer for an ice cream? And you went to grab stuff from the freezer and was like, I can't reach.
But it was like
Yeah,
one of those like
because you had
ice
to open
cream
the fucking door.
It was one of those ice cream freezers where like
You
it was
slide
like a box. It was like, yeah, and you have to like reach down into it to get the ice cream.
Like it was a HP ice cream, like
Yeah.
free.
Was it not HB?
Yeah, it was a HP. It was a HB freezer, ice cream freezer that you slide open.
Yeah. And I kept like trying to reach for the ice cream, and then I started to freak out because I couldn't get the ice cream. I practically climbed on top of the freezer to try get in because I thought, oh, maybe I just can't reach.
I'm gonna move on from this story, but I'm gonna end it in the best way possible. So we have finally, after spending about 35 minutes
Oh
in a garage.
no! I just remembered. Are you talking the part about the till?
Yeah. So
Oh,
here's
okay.
how this story ends. And I'm gonna end the story.
It doesn't. It actually ends the next morning.
It ends next morning, but here's how the garage ends.
Yeah.
I went up to the till and I bought my stuff. All of us bought our stuff, and then you were up to buy your stuff, and all of a sudden I heard, "Hey, hey," and I was like, "Is everything okay?" And you had your hands
No.
full, like you had both hands hold, like
I had so much food.
Like you had like a packet of crisps, biscuits, everything.
I had my body
You had to put your
in food and near
in
enough.
fucking food. And I heard you whisper to me, like a whisper shouting.
I thought I was whispering. Evidently not.
No, you were whispering, but you know that like, hey, that kind of whisper shouting thing.
A loud whisper.
Yeah. Keep in mind, you were third in line with 7 people behind you.
Yeah.
And all I heard was, hey. And I was like, what? What's wrong? And you're like, I don't have my purse. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you fucking joking? And even our friends were like, is she taking a piss? And I was like, no. Like, I had to hand you my wallet.
Yeah.
And then you get to the top of the line and you didn't freak out. Like, internally you freaked out. And I seen that and I had to come up and grab my wallet off you and pay the dude behind the counter. And he was like, okay, have a good day, I guess. Like,
yeah, it was a really weird experience.
Like, he was a really nice guy. Like, he was
lovely.
paper on his job. Like, there was where we were, there wasn't that much foot traffic.
Yeah, because we weren't like in the city centre. We were actually a little bit out of it. Like we used to have to get the tram in and out of the city, which was nice.
We were like a 25-minute tram ride, which sounds like a lot, but when you're
really isn't.
When you're having a good time over there, it's about 5 minutes.
And there was so much near us that we actually didn't even need to go into the city as much as we thought we would.
Shout out to Dunkin' Donuts for having the same price on all their donuts over now.
I got a Spider-Man one for like €2. I was delighted.
Like in Ireland, they're fucking like they're not extortionate, but like when you're broke,
they're very expensive. But yeah, anyway, back to me freaking out at the.
And we're past the freaking out in the garage. We are now into the next day, where the freak out continues.
No, because when we got back to the, I don't remember getting back to the hotel. Don't remember what happened. I just remember lying on the bed and I checked my phone to see what time it was. You were like sitting at the table by the window. And I looked at it and it was like 7:01. And I was like, right, okay. And then I was just put my phone down.
The guys text me and were like, hey, we're downstairs at the garage. Oh, not the garage, the car park. Because that's where you had to smoke. You're not allowed to smoke in the hotel or have anything on the premises.
Yeah. Most hotels are like that.
Most hotels are like that. And we're pretty obliging. Like, we follow all the rules and we're like, we like this hotel. We don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah, that was probably the nicest hotel either of us has been to.
Yeah, like we felt like it was way too rich for our blood.
Honestly, yeah. It's like we don't normally stay at hotels like that at all, and the price we paid for it was like really fucking good as well because we got
I felt like
a really good deal.
The hotel.
Yeah, we got like €200 off each room.
Yeah, it was like 600 quid a night.
Like 500.
Yeah, like it was 600 quid a night normally, but for us, because you got it on
whenever it
It's
I got a deal when we booked it, and it was like 300.
yeah, it was like
I split the cost between the two of us. Yeah, it was like 50 quid each per night.
yeah, for 4 people.
Yeah, it was insane.
Oh, it was like 183 or something.
No, that was the flights.
Oh.
It was 50 quid per person per night.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. But
which I find this was a 5-star hotel. Like professional athletes
it's
stayed there to the Olympics.
Not a joke. It was built for the Olympics.
Yeah,
and like there's an Olympic stadium beside it. I think it was.
That's why it's called the.
I think it was like the 1983 or the 2001 Olympics. I'm not sure.
I don't remember. It was held there. I think it was held there a few times. I'm not quite sure. I think we looked it up at the time, and it was like 2 or 3. Maybe.
Also, if you're going to stay at the Olympic, we're not sure if you can go into the Olympic Stadium because we didn't try.
They had some like event on, didn't they? They had the football match, so
it was a big
setting up for that.
It was
Ajax.
It was the Ajax and someone else.
Someone else.
I was raging that we didn't get to fucking see it. Like, I don't like football, but like if there's a live event,
it would have been a good experience.
If there's like a live event or live music in a place that I'm visiting, I want to go see it, even if I can't understand it. Like my first time in Amsterdam for my 21st birthday, I went to an improv show with me and all my friends. We went to an improv show just because we were like, why not? Like, we're never going to get to do it at home. Well, we will. We're at home. We don't want to do that shit at home.
Yeah.
Like, when you're on holidays, you wear shorts on holidays. You don't wear shorts in Ireland because it rains all the fucking time. Unless you're a psychopath who wears shorts all the time, which means I hate you.
Like my brother.
Your brother's an athlete, though. Your brother's a rugby player, so like he is used to being out in the rain, the sleet, and snow.
The snow, yeah. God, like, I miss training in the snow.
Man,
I'm sorry. If rugby training in the snow is absolutely, it's so cold, but so much fun.
Also, I want to give out to YouTube for a minute for suggesting I want to listen to Rory Best's audiobook. Fuck you.
I genuinely, for a second, I don't know why, like, huge rugby fan, but for half a second I went, isn't that the guy from Mrs. Brown Boys? And I was like, nope.
No, that's Rory.
It's not. Son. Yeah, but you said Rory, and that's the first thing that popped into my mind. I don't know.
Or Rory
I don't know
Best,
if that's his name.
or whatever his name is.
Yeah, no, Rory Best, yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but you said Rory, and when I heard Rory, I thought of...
Like Rory.
I don't know. I just thought of your man from the TV. And then I went, no, the rugby player.
Yeah, believe it or not, in Ireland, there's 2 ways to spell Rory.
Yeah, there's the Irish version, which is insane. It's literally just or and then a load.
I have a friend called Rory, and I met him at camp.
Yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Like, his name is awesome, but like
it's spelled weird. Not weird, but like it's if you're not from
if you're dyslexic, you're gonna be an epileptic after trying to spell it, basically.
There's worse ones.
My name is worse.
Well, we can do like a whole thing, but I feel like we on names, but I feel like we should wrap up the adventures in Amsterdam.
Yeah. So Amsterdam is done over with. That's where we were for a year.
I wish. But yeah, anyway, I checked my phone about 1 million times, expecting, because it felt like about 20, 30, 40 minutes in between each time I checked it. So I was like, I wonder what time it is now. It hadn't even been a full minute every time I checked it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was weird.
That was hilarious.
I got so frustrated. I was genuinely like, why has time stopped? Like, what is going on? But I remember waking up the next morning. So the way the hotel room was designed is there's like these two built-in wardrobes which are gorgeous, and the bed's in the middle of them.
The bed is like
But
a
the
size
side,
bed, and it's a standard.
no, it wasn't. It was superior deluxe room.
Oh,
Um, yeah, because that's why I was like, how do we get this room so cheap? But the part of the wardrobe where the bed is, like either side, there's um like a little shelf kind of like cabinet thing built in, so that you can like put your, your glasses or your book or your they had like outlets so you could plug in your phone and charge your phone as well. Um so that was class. So I remember waking up the next morning and I rolled over to get my phone out of the like little cubby hole.
yeah, they had cubby holes right beside your
And
bed.
yeah, that's what I'm on about.
Super
Like,
dangerous.
they were amazing. So, and the light switches as well were in there either side as well.
Yeah.
So like, I honestly like want that in my house. Like, that's how much I love that design. But I rolled over, and I went to get my phone out of the cubby hole, and I just looked and was really confused. And I remember I turned to you and I go, "Who the fuck bought Tuck?" As in like the little biscuits, because it was so weird.
Mm.
And then you went, "You did," and I was like, "No, I didn't." And then at that point, I remembered I stood in front of. They had like a whole shelf of different flavors of Tuck,
Yeah,
like
healthy
one of
big one.
like ends of the stalls. And I remember I stood there for like, I don't know, like how long I stood
by the
there,
way,
but
50.
the 15. I was like, it felt like a long time. I just stood there going, "Oh my God, they've so much Tuck." Here's the thing, I I don't buy Tuck
I
normally.
don't even like Tuck.
Like they're not my favorite. Like, I'll eat them if they're there,
Like,
but like I wouldn't go out and actively buy them.
like fig rolls, tea, like rich tea.
Oh,
That's my go-to guys. Like, they're mine. Tuck, they're like,
yeah, Tuck. I wouldn't buy them for myself.
I wouldn't buy my
So the
worst
fact that
enemy.
they weren't even normal Tuck, were they? They were like flavored
They
Tuck.
were, Becca, they were normal Tuck. They were
Were they?
yellow Tucks.
Oh, I thought I got the cheese and onion ones. I was contemplating getting them for a very long time, and then they barbecue, which is like my favorite flavor of all time. So I'm really surprised I didn't pick up those ones.
Ugh.
So yeah, that was kind of the
That was our
most.
Amsterdam adventures.
We also found a place on the last day that you had actually been to before,
Oh,
but we couldn't remember the name of it, so we couldn't look it up. To find it, we
put
just
it
found it
this
by
way.
accident.
This shop, it's in a back alley, and I can't.
It looks
It
really
was
sketchy. Like,
it
it
was
sounds really
something
sketchy, but it's not.
pre
To
to me.
me,
That's what it was. This shop, you will find it
it's
very randomly. I found it twice
like
in the
very bright
3
pink.
visits I've had, and the
Um,
2 of them
it
were
was
by accident.
it was quite busy when we went in, so we just went upstairs, and like there's like 3
I've
levels.
never been upstairs
Uh,
until my second visit with you.
yeah, so we went in and we're like, right, okay, because our friends went off for like a fancy meal,
We're
um,
broke.
and
We couldn't.
that, and like we were like, nah, we'll just go to McDonald's because
Yeah.
McDonald's. So we went up and we just kept going up, and then the first floor, like the ground floor was busy, the first floor was busy, second floor was busy, and then we realized there was like a
Yeah,
third
which we
floor.
were looking at.
So
We were looking at the stairs, and we were like, that has a third floor, but at the top of the stairs it had a staff only thing.
yeah, and we were like, can we
And then
like
seeing
can
like
we
a
not?
group of people pass us by and go upstairs, and we were like, okay. So we went up,
So we just followed them.
and oh my goodness, this was the best place ever.
Like, that is the first place we're going back
It
to
was like
after genetics.
it was like a room. Oh man, it was so big. Like this room,
It
like
was
the
like
whole bottom floor.
huge.
Like it was like, oh, how do I even explain it? It was like a hotel lobby
It was
at
like
the
the
top
whole
of the
building.
fucking building,
Yeah, like it was just
and it
the
was
whole
a room
floor.
filled with chairs that were the size of maybe a double bed, like a regular double bed, and they
Yeah,
had armrests in between with like ashtrays, and then your
and
and cushions,
cushions.
like really comfy cushions. And in the center of the room, there was this really long like table.
Table.
Like it was just a basic table, but like the length of it was like
It was
something out of
so long.
like a Viking movie. It was huge.
Like it is like it's probably the length of half my house.
Like, oh dude, it was at least like 15 feet long.
Like it's crazy. Um, but that's not even the best part. The best part was they had
Movies for free.
like
They
flat
had flat
screen
screens going around
TVs
the room
all around the room showing
showing
movies.
movies. And I had a bit of my medication when I was there, and I was starting to, not gonna lie, I was freaking out like real bad. And the first,
This is where it gets really
really
ironic,
ironic, like
considering
really, really ironic. I was freaking out real bad, and like you noticed, and our friends were having their meal, and I was freaking out,
and we were about to leave because you were freaking out, and I was like, right, okay, let's just go.
but I didn't realize that the TV screens played movies on a loop. Like the movie didn't end and show the credits, and then it was like wait 5 minutes. It was like the movie ended, there was no credits, and it went straight into the next movie, which was um who directed this movie? I can't remember who the fuck directed it, but it's the 2017 release of uh,
It was Spielberg, wasn't it?
Spielberg wrote it, I think. I can't remember.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
quote me on that,
it
but
well. Will I look it up?
sure. But he made it, but it was the 2017 release of it. And as soon as it came on, like I hate horror movies, but I love Pennywise or anything got to do with Pennywise. And that came on, and immediately, like you seen the change in me as soon as that came on. I was engaged. I was like, click a button, switch somewhere, and my body was like, "You're fine now. Don't worry about it." And then as soon as I started to unfreak out, our friends came in. Also, we're recording this on our phones. Um,
Social distancing because
yeah, like
coronavirus.
we're recording this on our phones, like in Ireland in separate counties because
Yeah, so we live about an hour apart from each other.
yeah, like none of us we don't drive, so we have to use public transport. So it takes about an hour or 2 hours. Or that day it took 4 hours, which was a pain in my absolute taint.
I still don't understand. Like that's the equivalent of driving from one end of the country to the
Yeah,
other.
and I'm not making that up. It was literally 4 hours. It took me an hour to get into Dublin city centre, and then it took me 3 hours to get all the way up to Kinnegad.
And then
Which normally from
from
Dublin to
Kinnegad.
Kinnegad usually takes about 40 minutes. On a rough
Yeah,
day, like I mean, like there's traffic. Someone
a little
has
over an hour,
probably
kind of.
died in the middle of the road. There was
No,
like,
it's way longer.
like, oh,
It's just over an hour. It's an
to
hour and
Kinnegad.
10. Mm-hmm.
Whenever I do it, it's like 40 minutes.
Well, it wasn't
Yeah,
that
that
fucking
day it
day.
was like fucking 3 hours.
That's what we were going to connect you, and my mom
Where
was
is he?
like, "Is he there yet?" I'm like, "No, because I don't live in Kinnegad. Like I live out in the middle of nowhere." Um,
Also,
so it was.
fun fact: when I was on that bus, I normally sit down the back of the bus, like upstairs because nobody goes upstairs on the back of the bus.
No, I sit at the front on the
But
upstairs, or I sit in
here's
the
a
back of the
part of the
bus
story
down the
you
end.
probably forgot. I was sitting in the back of the bus and someone came down, and I was immediately like I don't judge people by what they look like or what they're doing, like how they like dress or anything. I was like, okay, someone's sitting on the back of the bus, and then I heard tinfoil, and I was like, okay, he's either on coke or something's gonna happen. So I heard tinfoil, and then I heard
He could have just been eating his
no.
sandwiches.
This is where it gets worse because I heard tinfoil, and I was like, okay, if he's doing coke, he's not gonna freak out for at least 3.5 minutes or something. I've never done coke, so I don't know. So I was sitting there, and I heard the tinfoil, and I was like, okay, I was gonna sit here, and I was texting you, and then immediately after that, I was like, that's not. What the fuck is that a lighter? What's he? He's doing heroin. He's doing fucking heroin. He's doing heroin right now.
No.
And the smell of heroin, I've never smelled it before. Because I've never even seen it. I've seen it in movies.
I've only seen it
I've
in
seen
like
it in movies.
movies.
I think it's
Yeah.
brown. It's brown in the movie, so it's brown in real life.
I always thought that was just
I didn't
don't
see it.
know.
I just heard the tinfoil, and then I heard a lighter. I don't know if he had a spoon or anything. I was just like, I am fucking out of here. So I went downstairs. As soon as I went downstairs, I sat down at the seat that's like behind the driver. Because I was like, if anything happens, this dude's immediately going to be seen. So I sat down. I asked this random stranger, could I sit down? He was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I sat down, and I didn't realize there was a stop up next. The person that got off.
Oh, that was your
No.
stop, wasn't it?
The person, it was the
No.
stop before Kinnegad. Kilcock,
Oh,
I think it was.
yeah. No, it's not Kilcock. There's about 7 stops in between.
I wasn't thinking.
Clonard.
Yeah, I think it was. I didn't really care what the stop was at that stage because the person that came down the fucking stairs was your old boy, fucking heroin head over here, sticking it in his arm or snorting or whatever. I don't know what you're doing. But he came staunching down the stairs like one of those inflatable flailing arm tube men. Kind of proud of myself. I said that right in the first try. But
oh,
those wacky waving inflatable arm tube men.
Oh, what's the name
That's
of
the
them?
exact name of them, what I just said.
That can't be the name.
But anyway, he came down the stairs like that, and I'm not joking, exactly like one of those.
I love those
he came down the stairs like that, like just wobbling. Like, I don't know how heroin or hard drugs affect you. Like, I can't tell you for sure it was heroin, but I heard tinfoil and a lighter, so I'm assuming right now. But one of those hard drugs that uses a lighter and tinfoil, but I was like, fuck, he's gonna stab me. And he just fell off the bus straight in his face as soon as he stepped out the bus. And then the bus driver was like, the bus driver just goes, the most, like, I'm not joking, this dude was the bus driver that we, what's the saying? It's like, the bus driver that we deserve but don't need. Or something like that.
Oh. The one we didn't know we needed?
Like he was a Russian guy, but like the strongest.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this guy.
I've ever heard. And he just goes, "You all right, man?" And the man goes,
"How did you know
because
he
he
was
started speaking
Russian?"
Russian to the next customer that got on the bus.
Oh, fair. Maybe. Okay.
Like Russian's quite simple to pick up. Very, very aggressive,
fair.
But they're speaking friendly.
I thought that was German.
Russian.
But, German's also like that. Language.
He goes, yeah. He just goes, all right, man. And the fella just goes, and the driver closed the doors and took off. I was like, oh my god, I love you.
Literally, you was a bus driver.
Oh man, if I was a bus driver, I wouldn't let anybody on. My job is to drive the bus. I don't care if I let you on. Any bus drivers out there, please let me on your bus.
Do you remember, like, we have seen the weirdest things on the bus from yours into town? Like, honestly.
Sure, fuck it. Oh, do you remember the dude that got sick on the stairs?
I was literally just thinking that was manky. It's that
Yeah.
trainers.
Like, in all fairness, like, I have to give it to you, man. Wasn't his fault, and like, I get it was a sick situation to be in, like, literally. But he seemed like a decent enough guy. Like, he seemed like he was just he dabbled a
He was
bit
out
too
of it,
much in whatever he was taking in dabbling in that night.
dabbling.
But I felt bad for the
He
person
was
he was with
walking.
because
He
they were
actually,
pregnant.
he only got
He
on
was
the
on the bus
bus
less than a wet minute.
upstairs. Like, he literally, there was like the stop before this happened. He got on the bus and then he was walking up the stairs and puked all over the stairs, and the bus driver just pulled in at the next stop, kicked everybody off, and got into a big massive row with him because
Like,
obviously,
I felt bad for the guy because the guy was like, "It's I didn't mean to." Like, he was shouting at the driver in pure defense. Like,
defense, kind
it
of like he
was
was.
defensive. Like, he was well in his right to be defensive about it.
And in all fairness, the driver was well in his rights with what he
Everyone
said
was in their
because
right to say
he
whatever they
wasn't.
had to say that night because people had places to go. It was late at night. The driver.
Yeah, and it was in the middle of winter.
It was during the
Like,
winter. It
it
was
was
raining,
raining.
and at the same time, I don't mean to be very like it's extremely judgmental, but like if you see someone who is like a very heavy drug user in Dublin, it's not that uncommon. But like this person seemed
Yeah,
like they were influenced at the time. Same
yeah.
time, like still have
And I think that was kind of
yeah, it
part
was
of,
part of it.
yeah. Whereas if his partner
Like, and for the driver, like
had
he
have
didn't
been,
get aggressive. He held his ground, and same. He
he just
explained in a
explained why
like
everybody
I
had to get
couldn't have
off.
given any more like what's it called? Like I couldn't commend him anymore with the way he handled that situation.
Yeah,
Same with
yeah. He handled it a lot better than either of us would have.
the person who got sick. He handled it with
Yeah,
just as much dignity behind it.
yeah. The only, like, it was a shit situation. The only part of it, though, that,
Pissed the both of us off.
and I think everybody else on the bus was, so on most of the city buses, they're double deckers, but there's only one set of stairs
Yeah.
at the front. So, and because he got sick on the stairs, those steps are lethal
Also,
at
if
the
you've
best
ever
of
been
times.
to Ireland or you live in Ireland and you've been on a Dublin bus, those steps are like taking a long jump. Especially
Yeah,
if
it's
you're a
like
midget, like, well, sorry, that's a very shitty term to use. If you're, I'm sorry
that's
for
very
using that
offensive.
word because we are both very small people.
Yeah, like
Like,
tiny.
I'm
Like
5'4".
you said,
No,
five
I'm
three earlier,
five
so
three to
5'3",
5'4", and you're like 3'2".
and I am
You're
not.
actually
Fuck you.
an inch underneath
I
being
am.
a. How do I say
I'm an inch
all the
over. So
words? It's
how do you?
an inch under being
So I
a little
am.
person. Someone correct
Yeah,
me if
I
I'm wrong.
am
Legally, it's a small
legally
person.
one
It's a,
inch
it's a derogatory, not
over
derogatory term,
being.
but it's a bad term to use.
I think. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the term is, like the correct term.
I've offended anybody, I
But
apologize.
yeah, I am 1 inch taller than what is the cut-off point to be considered that
You're 4
type of. I am. I thought for years I was 5 foot.
until you stood
For
next to me.
years. No, until my brother cracked out the measuring
Mind your
tape.
brother's 14.
Um,
15.
yeah, no, 14.
He's 50.
He's 15 during the summer. Not yet, he's not. Your sister's 15. Yeah, see, that's the confusion. He's only 14. So he's currently having a bit of a growth spurt.
I'm 23
whereas
and he's taller than me.
Yeah, but that's not hard. You're fucking tiny.
I'm the tallest in my house.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not small. But yeah, anyway. So we had to walk down those steps. I was in heels, by the way.
Leah, where were you coming from?
I think I was coming from the office. Because I met you in town, I'm pretty sure. Because it was late at night. So I'm assuming I came from the office.
If people in Dublin are listening to this, they're going to be like, I know where you guys meet up now.
No, because we never said where we meet up.
Yeah,
We just mentioned that town's a big place. But yeah, anyway, so we had to walk through the vomit, which was disgusting, and then wait and queue in the cold.
Like, I don't care if someone gets sick in front of me, but like I can watch someone get sick, like, for hours. Like, let's just say, I wouldn't do it actually, but like, I have a strong-ish stomach, but hearing the noise of the splash,
Stop! I forgot about that.
It's the most disgusting sound ever. It's like, to me, it's like hearing someone's head hit the ground. It's like, oh my god, are you okay?
It was so bad.
Like,
oh my god! Like,
it was like, have you ever heard someone?
It was.
Have you ever heard someone shout?
It was
have
like
you ever heard someone
projectile.
shout and vomit at the same time?
Yeah, it was like projectile.
Like,
it went everywhere. Walls, stairs. And it was a lot. Like, there was a lot. And then it started to like trickle down the stairs. Yeah, it was manky. And then there's that time that we were.
I don't know if we discussed this the first time. We are like immunosuppressant patients, so it's not for us to be around.
No, I don't think we did.
Any like open blood or biohazardous materials. Like, I can't even be around. Like, we can't even be around like babies who haven't been vaccinated, because it's bad for us, it's bad for babies, and bad for other people who are.
Anyway, do you remember the time that we were on the bus? I think we were going into town. We were sitting upstairs at the back, which is weird because we normally sit at the front. It was quite busy that day.
We don't usually sit upstairs. Do we?
No, we normally sit
we
upstairs.
sit beside the stairs upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we normally sit up there, but we were at the back because it was busy. And do you remember the guys behind us just lit up a joint?
Balls, man. Those dudes lit up. If you don't smoke the weed, if you don't, how, like, I'm not gonna go into details, but like, measuring details, I mean, but these dudes, no joke, lit up a 2-skin king-size skins. They lit up a 2-skin king-size skin joint in the back of our bus.
It was huge.
And the worst part about it, didn't even offer us any. Fucking rude.
And then the guy, about 4 or 5 seats up and across from us, pulled out a full KFC.
It wasn't even just a guy. It was 4 people.
Yeah, I would also KFC. I love KFC. Like, I'm a big chicken person, so did not go well. Was not impressed. Because I turned around to you and I was like, "Deep," and you were like, "Why are you making a funny face?" And I was like, "I smell KFC," and you were like, Literally, like, okay, are you
Yeah,
okay? Should
literally,
we
like,
get
should we
off
get
the
off the bus? Like, are
bus?
you okay? Because I was oblivious to fucking Snoop Dogg and the
And I was
gang at the
legit
back of
like,
the bus.
no. And I was legit like, no, someone has KFC on this
I,
bus. And
I
you were like, no, they don't. Like,
to the chicken.
where would they've
I
got
was like,
KFC?
"You not smelling this shit right now?"
Because, but here's the thing though, right? You were like, you turned to me because we were going by the college, and you were like, where would they have got KFC around here? Like, the nearest KFC is in town, and we were on our way into town. And I was like, I swear to God, someone has KFC. Yeah. And they did. A full one of those big
I got
sharing
fucking
buckets, but they
contact
didn't
high from
share.
the dude in fucking the back, like literally the seat behind me. I'm pretty sure he was tapping his ashes into my hood. He was that close to me.
That was such a
Like,
weird
in all fairness, I
experience.
don't care if you smoke weed. Just do it at home. Don't do it on a bus.
Don't do it
Like,
on a bus.
not because I don't like it or because it's illegal.
But like little kids,
Yeah,
like,
there's little kids, but like at the same time, I'm like, you're just gonna get yourself into more hassle. Like, not only did you light up a,
yeah.
let's say for example, not only did you light up a cigarette on a bus, contents of that
The
are gonna
contents
get
of
you
that
more
were
time.
also illegal.
Well, not really. In Ireland, you'll get about you'll get a 50, no, you'll get a €1,500 fine depending on how, like, depending on your criminal record. They're usually over here, it's not
Yeah.
decriminalized or legal, so they usually just confiscate it and give you a written warning depending on the
Fine.
conviction record, or they'll give you a fine and at least a year minimum in prison.
Which I think, have we had any other weird journeys?
The it's not weird. What happened to me was weird. The day that we took 4 hours to walk to a shop. By the way, completely
Oh yeah.
sober. Completely sober.
And it's not like
It's a
it is
10-minute
a
drive, but
10-minute
in the middle
drive.
of the country, it's 4 hours. It wasn't 4 hours. We're
It's
slow
not.
walkers.
It's not.
It's
It just
because we
took
took
4 hours.
bikes and then realized about 15 minutes into the journey that both bikes' tires needed to be pumped up. So we ended up just walking.
Whereas we could have easily just turned around, left the bikes back
This
at the
is
house,
where
and
I'm
then
going to take
went.
over the story
But
because
no.
this is a part where you were like, no, it's not. And you're going to realize what I'm on about now in a second. We decided like the bikes are
Yeah.
too shitty to cycle because when you stand on the bike, the tire, like the rim of the wheel would hit the ground. And
Yeah, I don't know how it took
yeah,
us that
like
long
I
to
just
notice.
battled on through it. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna cycle. I want to get as far as I can. And then I heard something. I was like, that don't get ahead of me here,
Oh
please. It was
yeah.
awful. I love this story.
No, I
But
won't.
we were cycling, and I was like, fuck it, let's just go. So we ended up just walking it instead. And all of a sudden, I heard like a trumpet or a horn, like a oh, was it like a trumpet or a frugal or whatever the fuck it's called, a horn without paddles on it. I used to play the trumpet, and I don't know what the fuck it's called, but I heard like a ta-ta in the middle of the, like, where we are is in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Nowhere.
you could go missing for at least a week, and people would be like, "Yeah, he just lives down the road." It's like he's not missing. That's how far
Yeah.
out of society we are. I love it because I love the countryside, and moo are everywhere. And moo cows. I love cows. But I was like, "Did you hear that?" And you went, "What are you on about? You're hearing shit."
Can I just add, right, just on the topic of moo-moos, is great living in the country because sometimes you wake up and there's about 10 of them in your back garden. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay. It's a weird experience. Also, woke up one morning and they were in the front of the
I
garden.
was cutting the grass, and the
They had just
farmer was bringing them
wandered around the house.
to the field, and I was cutting the grass, and a bull was just standing in the garden. Not like a fully grown bull, like a like a teenage bull.
Yeah. No, you would have loved it if you were here the day that, like, literally, there was like 4 cows in the garden, like, all day. They were just walking around chilling.
Yeah, anytime there's cows up at her garden, I get her to send me pictures. But anyway, getting back to the story. I love cows just as much as I love pugs, and if you love pugs, that's quite weird. But anyway, getting back to the story, I heard a horn, blah blah blah, and she said, "What are you talking about?" I didn't hear Anne. And I was like, "There's a hunt." But the way I said it, you took it like, "Who are you hunting?" And I was like,
Yeah, I was
"Just wait."
really
And you're
confused.
like, "What are you talking about?" And out of nowhere, 2 dudes in camouflage came out of the woods. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
No,
they
they came
came
out
out
of
of
the
the woods where
ditch.
the ditch is. And the ditch is about 3 feet deep, by the way. So these dudes came out of nowhere with double barrel shotguns, and I was like, we're going to die. But at the same time, I won't feel that, and it's grand. They'll just tear pieces of me apart.
Yeah,
And
it's
you were
not
like,
really
how did you know
weird.
there was a hunt on? I was like, did you not hear the dogs and the fucking guns going off? And like, you were like, I've never heard a gunshot. And I
Was
was
he?
like, you're not from the city.
No, but
But
that's
that
the
was,
thing. Like,
but
I have heard
it's
gunshots,
quite
but like,
distinctive when
it's
if you play an instrument,
it's
if
normal,
you're
but like for a different
musically
reason.
inclined or you know what a musical instrument sounds like, you'll be like in the middle of nowhere. You can hear anything, and if you hear a trumpet and you know what a trumpet
Yeah,
sounds like, you're like,
it just echoes.
that's a fucking trumpet.
But like, here's the thing though, like the hunt happens
Yeah, and
every
I
so
was
often.
like, it was coming up soon, and you
Not
were
a
like,
big fan of
it
it
doesn't happen up
because
here.
no, like it depends. Like sometimes you get 2 or 3 in a row, and then you might get any the
By the way,
following year.
just so we're clear, I don't agree with hunting,
No, that was
especially
my next
fox
point.
hunting or hare hunting.
Also,
Like hare hunting to cull,
yeah,
like I agree with culling. It's not hunting; it's culling.
that's a
It's
different kind of
a huge. And
yeah.
if people don't agree with me,
Um,
you should have been culled.
yeah, I don't agree with it for the same reasons. I do think it's kind of wrong, but as well as that, the gunshots freak out my dog. And she just goes. My dog is the sweetest dog. She's like,
Let me put
really
it this way: her dog is
protective.
like a
And like,
clingy girlfriend that sleeps with you in bed. Like if that dog sleeps with you, like sleeps in the same room as you, it's gonna cuddle up into you, and you don't give it enough. Like that's what I was getting
like
to.
sit in
If
your
you don't give it
face.
enough attention and you're asleep, she will put her face on top of your mouth and nose to cuddle up with you, and it will wake you up. Believe it or
Yeah, she's actually
not.
currently lying here
She is.
beside me.
She's
But here's how she is an attention whore. But like here's how protective it is. I remember when I was younger, um, it was either myself or one of my younger siblings was stung really badly by
I was almost going to
a
say a name
wasp.
there, but I think it was the youngest one.
I don't know. I think that's what I asked Mum, and she said all of us had been stung over the years, like obviously. But there was
I've been
one
stung.
that
That
was
was my own
really
fault.
bad.
I'll get into that in a minute.
Oh no, have you heard of the story about Dad getting stung?
I'm feeling a buzz from the drinks I've been having, so I'm not going to make the jokes I'm going to make.
Anyway, so I got stung by one of us got stung by like a bee or a wasp or something when we were younger. It was very bad, and obviously because we were quite young at the time, we're like
Like a
bawling, like
a
really
bee sting
upset, like
fucking
didn't
hurts.
understand what had happened. It does,
I was
and a
stung for the
wasp
first
sting hurts
time
fucking
when I
way
was
more.
like 13. And not gonna lie, I almost cried.
Yeah,
But
but
I
like
did it to
ever
myself.
since,
I'll get into that later.
oh yeah, but ever since that that kind of really bad sting on one of us, my dog, whenever she sees a bee or a wasp or any kind of flying creature, like it could be a fucking fly, like it could be harmless, and she will literally go mental. And like I have lost count of the amount of times like
I've
she's
seen her.
chewed
I've
on
seen her
wasps
chase
and her whole face
flies
is
in your house
swollen.
when they come near you.
Yeah, she's very protective.
Like,
Like, and if someone comes into the garden and she can't see who it is, she goes crazy. Like, for example, she was in the room here with me the other day, and it was like the other evening, and I had my like curtains pulled over, because I was watching TV and I didn't want the light shining on the TV, so she couldn't see who came into the garden. It was actually just one of my parents, and she went crazy
see who it
because
was.
she'd heard a car and she couldn't know who it
Orientated.
was. Yeah. She is a Jack Russell mix. She's gorgeous, and she's got like a little. She's brown and white and has like a little heart
Because
on her
she
back.
loves it in the ass.
So, oh,
Don't you start.
you leave my dog
Derek
alone.
loves her and she loves Derek.
Nah, he's got several.
We will get into Derek later.
Ah, honestly, you and your Derek.
Yeah, that's
I
why.
just realised that sounds really weird.
So you're talking about Poppet and how she does flies and wasps.
She's really protective. Yeah, which is why I don't like the hunt, because it stresses her out.
We were at
Obviously,
least a mile from your house. That's it. 2 miles from your house, actually.
yeah. It's not even. It's like the full distance from my house to the village is maybe 3.2 kilometers. So we're about halfway there. So about 2.5 kilometers, nearly, just over 2 kilometers. Not very good at maths, actually. You can tell.
Yeah, you got stung by a wasp and she doesn't like flies or wasps.
Yeah, well, I don't know, was it me or was it one of the kids? But yeah, she also doesn't like gunshots. Obviously, most
people
animals
don't like
don't like
gunshots,
loud
believe it or not.
noises. But haha, very funny. But like even things like the power washer, she doesn't like the power washer because it makes loud noises, and if one of us was messing with it and like accidentally soaked the other person, like me and my siblings, like the person that gets soaked is obviously like like not happy. So she kind of picks up on that, and then she thinks it's the power washer as opposed to whoever's holding it.
She doesn't attack people, she attacks
So
objects
she tries to attack it.
that harm to people.
Yeah. Yeah, like power washers, cars. If a car is speeding, because like I live in a very narrow like country lane, and if cars or jeeps or trucks or anything like tractor, well, not really tractors as much, but like if Atten like speeds down too fast, like she goes mental, like she'll
15 miles
chase
an
it.
hour, she's going for
So
it.
I've noticed, yeah, and like I've noticed actually since because obviously like it's more when, during this like lockdown that cars going by. I've noticed the ones she's chased that have passed by a few times where she's chased them are actually slowing down, and
Yeah,
she
because
doesn't
they're afraid
like
of
she
hitting a
doesn't bother.
fucking dog.
Like it's only Yeah, but like, and she doesn't chase them
Yeah.
because they're going slow and they won't cause any.
Your dog is
It's
literally
really weird.
the traffic warden of your fucking road. She's the road frontage.
Yeah,
the road
it's weird.
frontage warden. Not many.
Honestly.
Understand that, yeah.
No, that's like a bit of an inside kind of joke.
You own road
oh, I
frontage.
thought you were saying because of yeah. Well, I don't.
Your parents.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that was Pops.
Speaking of dogs, I went downstairs and didn't
though.
realise I have 4 dogs, but I have 2 that protect the kitchen at night. Like they say.
So, can we just explain your dogs and how they are related? Right. Because I
have
how weird
a complaint to make, and I would like people to reach out to me on my Twitter because I don't use it, and I'd like you to reach out to me. I do.
I was going to say, do you have Twitter?
I should change the name of it, actually. Can you reach out to people on this? Can you text people on this app?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's like a feature for it. Yeah.
The part that we're going to leave in is this part starting right now. I want people to reach out to me on me or Bex here on this app because I would like people to know I have 4 dogs, and 2 of them are sisters, and one of them, the vet has said, is autistic. That dog's name is Wiggles.
Oh,
yes.
Wiggles? I love Wiggles. Wiggles was my favorite for like so long. Because when we first met, you had 3 dogs.
Randy Andy fucking got to my other dog, my sister's dog.
People are actually going to think that your dog's name is Randy Andy now.
Way better than that, and I love his name. His name. Are you gonna guess? You probably didn't get it right because you're a fucking idiot. His name is. I wanted to call him Derek, but obviously not. It's not my dog. Walter is such an awesome name.
Walter
for a dog.
Is much more appropriate. It is, especially because he's a
Yorkie mix.
He's a Yorkie, isn't he?
I think he has the Yorkie coat.
Oh, is he a mix? I love mixes.
He looks like a Yorkie, but
he looks like a
bit bigger than a Jack Russell.
Slightly.
Like he's about
he's
a Yorkie,
slightly bigger.
About 2 inches bigger than a Jack Russell. So he's a Yorkie Jack Russell mix.
Yeah. Something like that.
Like Walter's such an idiot. He grabs toys and throws them over his head because he plays by himself. He's so cute though.
He's so cute though.
So that's all for this week's episode of Just Hear Me Out. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy the absolute mayhem that we talk about
and nonsense.
Yeah, there is no other word to describe except nonsense. So yeah, if you enjoy listening to us ramble on about random stuff, subscribe, maybe share the podcast with your friends.
Or don't.
We really don't care. We're just doing this for the laugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will see you guys back here next week, maybe. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.